She was never meant to be tamed. They told us to smile more, to sit down, to stay quiet. They praised us for being soft, but punished us for being strong. They taught us to be ashamed of our bodies, our desires, our emotions, especially our rage. They made us believe that our worth was something to be earned through obedience, appearance, and approval. This book is for the women who are waking up, for the ones who have felt used, unseen, underestimated, or broken, for the ones who were told they were too much, too loud, too emotional, too ambitious, and then punished when they started to believe it. This world was not designed with our freedom in mind. Patriarchy is not just an outdated idea, it's a system that invades our schools, families, relationships, religions, media, and even our minds. It keeps us small by design. It thrives on our silence. But something is changing. There is a quiet and sometimes loud rebellion growing in the hearts of women everywhere. We are beginning to question. We are beginning to unlearn. We are beginning to reclaim what was always ours. Our bodies, our stories, our power. I didn't always know I was living under the weight of patriarchy. I just thought I was failing at being the right kind of daughter, partner, woman. I was constantly trying to be less of myself, less emotional, less opinionated, less difficult. I watched as others were celebrated for fitting into roles I could never fully occupy. I've been sexualized, silenced, gaslit, underestimated, and even blamed for the things done to me. At one point, I genuinely believed I had no real power, only value if someone else said so. But deep down, a quiet voice inside me never stopped whispering, "This isn't all there is. You were made for more." This book is part of my healing. It's the kind of book I wish I had when I was younger and lost in the fog of shame and confusion. It's a love letter to every version of me that thought she had to settle, hide, or shrink. And it's for you too, if you've ever felt that way. You're not alone. You're not crazy. You're not broken. You're waking up in a world that tried to keep you asleep. This book is not just a critique of the world that has oppressed us. It's a blueprint for breaking out of it. It's an invitation to burn the scripts we were given and write our own. Not from shame, not from fear, but from truth, freedom, and a deep, undeniable knowing that we were never meant to be caged. You don't have to be polished. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to wait for permission. You just have to begin. The patriarchal blueprint, how the system was built to keep us small. Before we ever had a name, the world had already decided what kind of woman we should become. It started long before us, before we were born, before our mothers were born, before their mothers too. There has always been a blueprint, a silent script etched into the walls of our homes, the hymns of our churches, the rules of our schools. The mirror in our bedroom, it whispered who we were allowed to be and who we were not. We were taught to serve, to smile, to shrink, to put everyone else's needs before our own, to trade our voices for peace, our instincts for approval, our desires for acceptance. The patriarchy is not a man, it is a machine, a structure, a set of invisible hands shaping how we move through the world. It tells little girls that being liked is more important than being respected, that their worth lies in their waistlines, their skin, their silence, that beauty is currency and aging is failure, that to be chosen by a man is the prize and to be alone is the punishment. It rewards us for our compliance, punishes us for our rebellion. It teaches us to doubt our own memories, to apologize for taking up space, to second-guess our no, to fear our yes. And the cruelest part? It made us believe it was our fault, that if we were just prettier, nicer, thinner, more agreeable, we'd be safe, we'd be loved, we'd be enough. But the truth is, this system was never built to protect us. It was built to control us. It thrives when we question ourselves instead of questioning it. It flourishes when we turn against each other instead of toward each other. It survives when we stay tired, distracted, ashamed. So before we break free, we have to first see the cage. We have to name it, trace its outlines, call out its disguises, because once we see the blueprint, we can begin to destroy it. The inner war, when patriarchy lives inside us. It's easy to think the enemy is out there, in-laws and headlines, in the men who interrupted us. But one of patriarchy's cruelest tricks is that it doesn't always need to raise its voice, because eventually we begin to police ourselves. We carry its voice inside. A whisper in the mirror, "You're not enough." A pause before speaking, "Don't be too much." A guilt that rises when we rest, when we say no, when we put ourselves first, as if we are betraying something sacred, even when all we're doing is choosing ourselves. That's the thing about oppression. Over time, it doesn't just shape the world around us. It rewires how we see ourselves. We silence our own truths before anyone else has to. We starve our hunger, literal and emotional. We shrink our dreams to make others comfortable. We distrust our brilliance, our beauty, our bodies. We become our own jailers, guarding the rules we never agreed to, enforcing the shame we didn't choose. And then we wonder why we feel so tired, so stuck, so at war with ourselves. But here's the truth no one told us. That inner war, it's not your fault. You didn't put those voices there. You inherited them. From mothers who were silenced, from women who never got to choose themselves, from a world that punishes any woman who dares to break free. But you get to unlearn it. You get to lay the weapons down. You get to come home to yourself. You are not too much. You are not too loud. You are not too sensitive. You are not wrong for wanting more. You are not the problem. You are the answer. Reclaiming the body, from object to temple. They taught us to see our bodies through someone else's eyes, to judge, to cover, to pose, to punish, to look at our reflection and ask, "Am I worthy yet?" From the beginning, we were taught that our bodies were dangerous, temptation, distraction, sin, too much when they were curvy, not enough when they weren't. Always something to fix, manage, shrink. They made us think our bodies belonged to them, to men, to markets, to mirrors, not to us. We were turned into objects before we ever learned we were sacred. Our bodies became billboards, bargaining chips, battlegrounds. We were told what to do with them, how to dress them, who could touch them, when to hide them, how to hate them. And the worst part, many of us did. We internalized the lie that we must suffer to be beautiful, that beauty equals value, that youth is everything, that softness is weakness, that our body must perform, please, endure, entertain, never simply exist. But now we are waking up, and we are remembering this body is not a prop. It is not a problem. It is not a project. It is a home, a language, a memory keeper, a source of wisdom. Your body has carried you through every storm. It has endured every gaze, every grab, every insult. It has whispered truth to you when no one else did. It has wept and laughed and danced and screamed. You do not owe this world a flawless face, a flat stomach, a polite smile. You owe yourself softness, safety, sovereignty. Reclaim your body. Touch it with kindness. Feed it with love. Move it with joy. Listen to its anger. Trust its no. Celebrate its yes. This body is yours. It always was. The myth of the good woman and how to burn it down. She was always there, the good woman they told us to be. She is quiet but kind, soft but not messy, helpful but not needy, smart but not intimidating, pretty but not provocative, strong but only in ways that don't make others uncomfortable. She says yes, she never complains. She carries everyone's burdens and still smiles. She puts her own needs last and calls it love. She is a ghost in her own life, haunting the expectations of everyone around her. They told us, If we could just become her, we'd be safe, we'd be loved, we'd be enough. But here's the truth. The good woman isn't real. She is a myth, a cage made of praise and pressure, a tool of control dressed up as virtue. She was never meant to set us free, only to keep us small, silent, agreeable. We are not here to be good. We are here to be whole, to be messy, to be powerful, to be complicated and contradictory and fully alive. We are allowed to disappoint those who only loved us when we were convenient. We are allowed to outgrow the roles we were assigned. We are allowed to want more than survival. We are allowed to burn the script. You don't need to be good to be worthy. You don't need to be likable to be lovable. You don't need to be easy to be enough. Be honest. Be wild. Be loud. Be still. Be sacred. Be free. Burn the myth. Let the ashes tell the truth of who you really are. Sisterhood over silence. They taught us to compete before they taught us to connect, to compare, to judge, to envy, to fear. She was always prettier, thinner, more loved. We were taught to see each other as threats, not as mirrors. They handed us scraps and made us fight over them. They told us there's only room for one woman at the table, so we turned our backs instead of holding out our hands. And when we were hurt by other women, we buried it in silence because we didn't know how to grieve what we weren't allowed to name. But here's the deeper truth. This distance between us didn't come from nowhere. It was planted. Patriarchy survives by dividing us. It made women believe that our power lies in being chosen by a man, a boss, a system. So we learned to see each other as rivals for love, attention, validation. We were told the ideal woman is rare, that beauty is limited, that success is limited, that worth is limited. But it was never true. There is no shortage of radiance, no quota on brilliance, no reason to compete when we can rise together. Still, the wounds run deep. Many of us were judged by other women before we found safety in them. We carry sister wounds, left by betrayal, exclusion, or comparison. And yet, despite the pain, we ache for sisterhood. Not performance, not perfection, but real, messy, honest connection. So how do we begin to heal? By choosing softness instead of suspicion, by complimenting what we used to envy, by seeing another woman's success as evidence that we're next, not that we're behind, by apologizing when we hurt each other, by telling the truth when we feel triggered, by unlearning the lie that only one of us gets to win. Sisterhood starts in small moments. I see you. I'm proud of you. You're not alone. You don't have to compete here. You're already enough. When women gather, systems shake. When women support each other, the world starts to change. We do not heal alone. We rise together. The patriarchy didn't just hurt us. It turned us against each other. It whispered lies in our ears. She's prettier than you. Don't trust her. She'll take your place. There's only room for one of you. So we learned to compete, to compare, to judge before we were judged, to keep a safe distance from other women, because closeness felt dangerous. We became fluent in silent resentment, in fake smiles and sharp eyes. We carried our jealousy like shame and called it normal. But underneath it all, what we really longed for was to be loved by women, to be seen, to be held, to belong. The root of the separation. This separation is not our fault. It was designed, structured, maintained. When women unite, we become powerful beyond measure. So the system needed us divided, to believe we were rivals, not sisters. It worked by scarcity of attention, of safety, of love. It made us feel that another woman's success meant our failure, that her beauty erased ours, that her voice drowned ours out. But none of it was true. The truth is, we were never meant to walk this path alone. We were always meant to rise together. Healing the sister wound. To rebuild sisterhood, we must first be honest. We have been hurt by women too. Some of our deepest wounds were delivered by mothers, friends, classmates, even strangers. But before we weaponize those wounds, we must tend to them. Healing doesn't mean trusting everyone blindly. It means softening the place inside us that believes other women are dangerous. It means seeing the little girl behind the mask, the one who also longed to be chosen, to be safe, to be enough. A guide to reclaiming sisterhood. 1. Acknowledge the wound without shame. Write or say, "Yes, I have judged other women. I have felt envy. I have distanced myself. I forgive myself, and I choose to heal." 2. Unlearn the lies. When you feel jealousy, pause. Ask, what do I believe she has that I can't? What part of me feels unworthy? Can I bless her and still honor myself? Her beauty does not threaten yours. There is space for all of us to bloom. 3. Speak kindness in secret. Say something kind about a woman when she isn't around. This rewires the habit of gossip. It opens your heart. It creates unseen bridges. 4. Apologize where needed. If you've hurt another woman, intentionally or not, and it feels safe, apologize, not to win her back, but to free yourself from the chain of silence. 5. Celebrate, don't compare. Every time a woman rises, it stretches what's possible for you, too. Let her success inspire your own. Let her joy remind you joy is possible. 6. Create safe space. Be the kind of woman who listens without judgment, who says, "Me too," who holds space for tears, anger, and joy. This is resistance. This is revolution. This is how we begin again. When we gather, not in competition but in communion, we shake the foundations of the world that tried to break us. The patriarchy cannot survive when women are no longer afraid of each other, when we pass the mic instead of stealing it, when we build longer tables instead of higher fences. Sisterhood is not a performance, it's a daily practice, a radical act of remembering. You are not my enemy, you are my mirror, and when I lift you, I rise too. The art of saying no, reclaiming your boundaries. We were taught that love means saying yes. Yes to the favors, yes to the touch, yes to the job, the role, the silence, the pressure, yes to everyone but ourselves. We learned early that no could cost us something: approval, affection, safety. So we became agreeable, polite, flexible to the point of breaking. But every time we say yes when we mean no, a small part of us disappears. We abandon ourselves for peace that doesn't last. We give from empty. We smile through resentment. We lose the sound of our own voice. Here's the truth they never taught us. No is not a rejection. It is a return, a way back to yourself. A door you close so you can breathe, a spell that keeps your energy sacred. No is a boundary. And boundaries are bridges to real love, the kind that respects your needs, your body, your time, your truth. Saying no doesn't make you rude or selfish or hard to love. It makes you honest. It makes you whole. You do not exist to keep everyone else comfortable. You do not need to explain your no. You do not owe anyone the pieces of you that cost too much. Let your no be holy. Let it echo through your life like a song of remembrance. You are not here to please. You are here to live. Why we lost our no. We were raised to believe our worth was tied to how much we could give, how much we could tolerate, how little we needed. We were trained to nurture even when we were empty, care even when we were crumbling, say yes even when our bodies said no. And slowly, our boundaries faded. We forgot what it felt like to feel safe in our own skin. A guide to rebuilding boundaries. 1. Locate the leak. Ask yourself, where do I say yes when I mean no? Who drains me? What leaves me feeling resentful, used, or invisible? These are the places that need a boundary. 2. Start with the body. Your body knows before your mind does. Practice tuning in. Do I feel tight or soft? Do I feel safe or obligated? Does my breath expand or shrink? Your no often lives in your body before it reaches your lip. 3. Practice saying no without apology. You don't need to explain, justify, or overcompensate. Try, no thank you. That doesn't work for me. I'm not available for that. I choose to rest. At first, it might feel terrifying, but with each no, you build a new foundation of self-trust. 4. Expect resistance. People who benefited from your lack of boundaries may not celebrate your growth. That's okay. Your safety is not up for negotiation. Their discomfort is not your responsibility. 5. Anchor in the yes beneath the no. Every no is a deeper yes. Yes to peace. Yes to alignment. Yes to rest. Yes to yourself. Boundaries are not walls. They are invitations for respect. They are guidelines for how to love you well. When you model boundaries, you give other women permission to do the same. When you say, "This is what I need," you're not just protecting your peace. You're rewriting the rules of worthiness. Your voice is not a weapon, it is a compass, a signal to yourself and the world that you are no longer available for self-abandonment. And your no, clear, sacred, unapologetic, is a prayer to the woman you're becoming. I will not shrink. I will not betray myself. I will not dim to be loved. I choose me. This body is mine, a love letter to my healing. They taught us to say yes before we ever knew we had the right to say no. For some of us, it started in childhood, in a room where no one protected us, where innocence was stolen and silence was demanded. We learned early that our bodies were not ours, that touch could come without permission, that pain could be disguised as love. And from that moment on, our bodies remembered. Some of us became givers, not from freedom, but from survival. We thought that to be loved, we had to be available. To be desired, we had to be open. To be worthy, we had to endure. So we opened when we wanted to close. We smiled when we felt fear. We performed pleasure even when we had never tasted it. And we were told this was normal. We were told to enjoy it. But how could we when our bodies were still holding the echoes of violation? This was my story. I was a child when it happened. My body was still soft with innocence. I didn't understand what was being done to me, but my body knew. It went quiet. It went far away. It learned to freeze, and that freeze followed me into womanhood. Years passed, and still I gave myself away. To lovers I didn't really choose, to men who wanted access but not intimacy. And even in relationships, I said yes when I didn't want to, because somewhere deep down, I thought that was my role. Sex was painful, not because something was wrong with my body, but because my body was trying to protect me. My womb shut down, my pleasure curled up in a corner and waited, and I blamed myself for it. I felt broken, frustrated, alone. I would hear other women speak of orgasms, of passion, and I'd wonder if I was missing some secret code. Why was I the only one who didn't feel it? Why did I feel awkward, disconnected, ashamed? The truth is, many of us feel this, but no one talks about it, because the world tells us that good women give, and sexy women perform, and damaged women stay silent. I chose something different. I chose celibacy. Not out of fear, but out of self-respect. I stopped giving myself to people who didn't see me. I stopped overriding my body's no. I stopped trying to fix my sexuality like it was broken. Instead, I made a promise. I will not return to my body as a battlefield. I will return to it as a temple, a place that gets to feel safe before it feels good, because healing doesn't begin with sex. It begins with safety, with softness, with sovereignty. I don't know when pleasure will come back. I don't know what it will feel like when it does. But I do know this. I am worthy of taking my time. I am allowed to pause. I am allowed to choose myself over performance. And I am not alone. This chapter of my life is not about pleasure for someone else. It's about finally learning what my pleasure is, when it's free of fear, free of pressure, free of pain. Because true pleasure is not what we do, it's what we allow. What we feel when our body says, "You're safe here. You're home." Take a breath. Let the shame go. Let the silence soften. Your pleasure is still yours. Your body is not broken. She is protecting you. And when she's ready, she'll open like a flower in her own time, without force, without shame, without anyone else's permission. The mirror doesn't define you. Unlearning beauty standards and coming home to your body. There was a time before the mirrors, before the scales, before the comments and comparisons, when your body was just your body, a home, not a battlefield. You lived inside her without apology. You ran, you danced, you laughed so hard your belly shook. You were not too much then, you were not enough. You just were, but slowly the world came in with its measuring tapes, its judgments, its filtered definitions of worth. It taught you how to look at yourself with suspicion, taught you how to shrink, to suck it in, to cover it up, to alter, to erase, to hide. And somehow they convinced you that being lovable meant being smaller. The beauty standard is not beauty. It is a spell. A powerful, profitable illusion meant to distract and divide. If you are always chasing an ideal, you will never rest. If you are always comparing, you will never feel whole. If you are always hating your reflection, you will never rise. And when a woman is exhausted, starving, ashamed, she is easier to control. This is not your failure, this is their design. The standard was never meant to be attainable. Perfect changes every decade to keep you buying. Your dissatisfaction funds their power. Loving yourself is bad for business. But guess what? You don't have to play by their rules anymore. You can opt out of the game entirely. You can choose to live, not perform. You were never meant to be anyone but you. The curves, the scars, the shape, the softness, they are not mistakes. They are memories, maps, proof that you are alive. You are not a before and after photo. You are not a work in progress. You are not a trend to be followed. You are the full damn story, and you deserve to live it fully, without shame. A guide to unlearning beauty standards. 1. Name the lies. Write down what you were taught. Thin equals beautiful. Cellulite is ugly. You must always look young. Body hair is gross. Stretch marks should be hidden. Now ask yourself, who benefits from me believing this? Where did this belief come from? Is this true for me, or was it placed there? 2. Curate your feed. Unfollow anything that makes you feel like you need to be someone else. Follow women who look like you, who live fully in their bodies, who are not polished but powerful. This reshapes your brain. This reclaims your lens. 3. Treat your body as a friend. Would you speak to a friend the way you speak to your body? Start small. Thank you, legs, for carrying me. Thank you, belly, for holding my center. You do not have to change for me to love you. This is how we rebuild trust, one loving word at a time. 4. Detox the mirror. Try going a day without looking in the mirror, not to ignore yourself, but to feel yourself from the inside out. Close your eyes. Ask, how does my body feel today? Not, how does she look? You are not an image. You are an experience. 5. Return to pleasure. Touch your skin, not with criticism, but with reverence. Take baths, oil your body, stretch like a cat. Move for joy, not punishment. Dress for your soul, not society. Let your body feel like yours again. Breaking the spell of obedience, finding your voice even when it shakes. We were taught to be nice, to be small, to swallow our instincts and smile with our teeth clenched. We were rewarded for obedience, for being pleasant, for nodding even when our hearts screamed no. We were taught to speak only when spoken to ask for permission before we existed too loudly, to soften our truth until it sounded like a question. And when we did speak, when we dared to say the wrong thing, feel too deeply, ask too much, we were called dramatic, difficult, crazy, too much. So we learned to dim. We edited ourselves mid-sentence. We rewrote our opinions to fit into rooms that didn't deserve us. We mastered the art of silence in the name of survival, but silence is not peace. It's a slow erosion of the self, and eventually it costs more than it protects, because deep inside, beneath the politeness, beneath the compliance, beneath the frozen throat, there is a voice that has waited, a wild, untamed voice, raw with truth, sacred with fire, ready to speak. The first step, hearing yourself again. Before we can speak, we must learn to listen to ourselves. Many women go years, even decades, without hearing the sound of their own soul. So start small. Whisper to yourself, write in a journal, not to be perfect, but to be real. Say things you never dared to say, not to anyone else, just to you. Let your truth exist without justification, without apology, without needing to be palatable. Speak to yourself like someone who deserves to be heard, because you do. You don't have to agree to belong. You don't have to smile when something hurts. You don't have to soften your edges so others stay comfortable. Practice disagreement in safe places. I don't see it that way. That doesn't feel right to me. I need more time to think about this. Your truth doesn't need to be loud to be valid. It just needs to be honored. Start where it's safe, with a friend, a mirror, a piece of paper. Say the hard thing gently, but say it. Each time you speak up, you unlearn silence. You teach your nervous system, I am allowed to take up space. Safety first, speaking without re-traumatizing. If your voice was silenced through trauma, abuse, control, manipulation, it's essential to rebuild safety first. Breathe deeply before you speak. Place a hand on your heart or belly to anchor. Say, I am safe. I am allowed to speak. If you feel overwhelmed, pause. You can always return. Your voice doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be honest. Even a whisper is a revolution when it comes from a woman who was told to stay quiet. Practices to awaken your voice. Write a rage letter. Don't send it. Say everything you couldn't say before. Voice note yourself. Record your feelings, your dreams, your truth. Hear your voice as something sacred. Mirror speak. Look into your own eyes and say, I trust you. Your voice matters. I am listening. Speak one truth a day, even if it's just, I'm tired, that hurt me, or I want something different. Your voice may shake. Speak anyway. It's okay if it cracks, if it trembles. If you say the wrong thing, you are allowed to stumble. You are allowed to cry. You are allowed to speak before you're confident. Confidence is not a requirement, only courage is. And courage comes from choosing to speak even when every cell of you wants to disappear. You are not here to be agreeable. You are here to be true. This is the voice of your becoming, not the voice they trained you to use, but the one you buried to survive. It is rising now. Let it. Let it roar. Let it tremble. Let it be awkward. Let it change everything. Because when one woman speaks her truth, 1,000 others feel less alone, and one day your voice will become someone else's permission. The return to self, learning to love the woman within. There is a moment in every healing journey where the noise quiets, the distractions fade, and all that's left is you, just you. Your breath, your skin, your story, your ache, your light. And in that stillness you may ask, who am I when I am not performing? Who am I when I stop apologizing for existing? And maybe for the first time you realize you have never truly met yourself, because the world taught you to look everywhere but within. They taught us how to please but not how to listen, how to care for others but not how to hold our own hearts. They trained us to seek approval, validation, desirability outside. So we became masters of adapting, chameleons of survival, but strangers to our own souls. We forgot what we loved, what we feared, what made us feel most alive. We abandon ourselves to belong, but belonging that costs your truth is not belonging. It is self-betrayal. The path home begins with intimacy, not sexual intimacy, but the quiet kind. The kind that asks, what do I feel right now, beneath the numbness? What do I need today, without shame? What does my soul long for, beyond the noise? Self-intimacy is letting your body feel again, letting your tears fall without judgment, letting your desires speak without silencing them. It's choosing to sit with yourself as you would sit with a child you love, patiently, gently, fully. A guide to returning to self. 1. Create rituals of softness. Begin and end your day with intention. Try lighting a candle before bed and asking, how did I care for myself today? Taking a few minutes in the morning to stretch, breathe, and touch your body with kindness. Looking into your own eyes in the mirror and saying, I see you, I love you, I'm here. 2. Uncover what you actually like. Many of us were told what we should enjoy, how to look, feel, move, love. Make a list of foods you actually enjoy, music that moves your soul, colors that feel like home, clothes that make you feel alive, not just pretty. You are allowed to reintroduce yourself to your own joy. 3. Write love letters to the girl you were, she who endured, she who was silenced, she who kept going. Tell her what you forgive her for, what you admire in her, what she never deserved, what you are learning to give her now. This is how we build a bridge to our wholeness. 4. Feel without fixing. You don't have to solve your pain to honor it. Sit with it. Breathe into it. Let it speak. You are safe now. You can hold all of you. 5. Come back to the body. Touch her, not to criticize, to remember. Let her move the way she wants. Let her rest. Let her play. Let her be messy and magnificent and free. Place your hand over your heart. Breathe in softly through your nose. Exhale slowly through your mouth. Whisper to yourself, I am learning to come home. Not to the girl they wanted me to be, but to the woman I was always meant to become. Reclaiming your sensual self. You do not need to perform. You do not need to be watched. You do not need permission. You only need to feel. Here is how you begin to reclaim. 1. Slow down sensory moments. Eat fruit slowly. Shower with your eyes closed. Touch your skin with reverence. Breathe deeply into your belly. Let your body notice the world again. 2. Question what was never yours. Ask, who taught me how I'm supposed to feel about my body? What did they say was too much about my desire? Whose gaze have I been living for? Release it all. Return to you. 3. Make space for safe exploration. If intimacy has been tied to pain, control, or obligation, you are allowed to pause, to say no, to say not yet, to say only on my terms. Start by exploring touch that is safe and non-sexual, rubbing oils into your feet, cradling your face, holding your womb gently, moving your hips to soft music, wearing fabrics that feel like love. You don't owe your body to anyone. Your body is not broken. Your pleasure is not shameful. Your desires are not dangerous. They are sacred. And when you are ready, not for him or her or them, but for you, the door will open and you will walk in, not to be consumed, but to belong to yourself. The revolution of rest, choosing softness in a world that demands our labor. They told us to hustle, to serve, to keep going, to keep giving, to carry everything and ask for nothing. They called us lazy when we stopped, selfish when we said no, unproductive when we dared to breathe. But we are tired of performing strength. We are tired of surviving in overdrive. We are tired of holding the world with trembling arms. We want softness. We want slowness. We want peace. And that is revolutionary. They applauded us for our endurance, how we worked 3 jobs, raised children, made ourselves small, and still managed to smile. But they never asked what it cost us. They never asked what we sacrificed to seem strong. Our nervous systems, our joy, our softness, our ability to rest without guilt. In a capitalist world, rest is rebellion. In a patriarchal world, softness is sacred. In a world that says more, faster, now. Your no, your pause, your stillness is a radical act of self-love. You do not have to prove your worth through pain. You do not have to be useful to be valuable. You do not need to earn the right to rest. Ways to practice restful living. 1. Create guilt-free stillness. Light a candle, lie on the floor, put on soft music, do nothing, breathe, feel. You are allowed to exist without producing. 2. Set boundaries with urgency. The world will always ask for more. You get to say, I am not available for urgency today. Say it to others. Say it to yourself. 3. Welcome your inner softness. Soft does not mean weak. Soft means whole. Soft means present. Soft means I'm here now and I matter. Wrap yourself in softness the way you would wrap a child. You don't have to carry everything anymore. You are not lazy. You are not falling behind. You are not broken. You are tired. You are human. You are worthy of rest. And rest, real, deep, sacred rest, is how you remember who you are beneath all the noise. The voice within, reclaiming intuition as truth. They called us hysterical, overly emotional, dramatic, too sensitive. They told us we were imagining it, that we were confused, that we should listen to reason, that we didn't know what was best for us. So we learned to override our knowing, to silence our gut, to question our instincts, to choose logic over feeling, to betray ourselves in the name of being believed. But inside each of us, there is a compass that never stopped spinning, even when we ignored it, even when we doubted it, even when we were punished for listening. That compass is your intuition, and it's time to bring her home. Intuition is not a luxury. It's a birthright. Intuition is the deep, quiet knowing that lives in the body. It speaks in sensations, whispers, chills, resistance. It is ancient, feminine, wild. But patriarchy teaches us to disconnect from it, to value data over dreams, logic over feeling, proof over perception. Yet every time you had a bad feeling, every time your body tensed before something went wrong, every time you knew before you knew, that was her. She never left you. She's just been waiting for you to listen again. Why we were taught to ignore her. Because a woman who trusts herself is dangerous to systems that profit from her confusion. When you trust your gut, you say no, you walk away, you speak up, you break cycles. You choose yourself, and systems of power can't control a woman like that. So they gaslit you, shamed you, taught you to doubt yourself. But you are unlearning now, and remembering that your body holds more truth than any authority ever could. How to reconnect with your intuition. 1. Listen to your body before your mind. Pause, close your eyes. Ask yourself, how does this feel in my body? Do your shoulders tighten? Does your belly flutter? Does your chest feel open or closed? Trust that. It is real. 2. Stop explaining yourself. Your intuition does not owe anyone an explanation. If something feels wrong, it is. If you don't want to go, don't. If you want to leave, leave. Permission is not required to honor your knowing. 3. Practice saying no without guilt. Start small. No to draining conversations. No to obligations you resent. No to what dishonors your spirit. Each no makes space for your truth. 4. Create rituals to strengthen your inner voice. Journal without editing. Pull oracle cards. Sit in silence for 5 minutes a day. Walk barefoot. Place your hand on your womb and ask, "What do I know that I'm afraid to say out loud?" The voice will rise. She always does. You don't need more advice. You don't need more opinions. You don't need to be convinced. You already know. You've always known. Your body is the oldest map you own. Your truth has never left you. Now you get to follow it home. Remembering joy, reclaiming the playfulness they stole. There was a time when you danced without shame, when your laugh cracked the sky open, when you wore glitter and spoke to flowers and believed in magic just because it felt good. Before the world told you to be quiet, before they said you were too much, before your sparkle made them uncomfortable. They taught you to dim, to mature too soon, to carry burdens that were never yours. But underneath the armor, under the silence, under the grief, your joy is still there. She's waiting for you to come play again. Joy is not a distraction from the work of healing. Joy is the work. In a world built on your silence, your sacrifice, your shame, to laugh loudly, to dance wildly, to create messily, to love yourself tenderly, is an act of defiance. Joy softens the wounds. Joy revives the spirit. Joy reminds you that you are still alive, and your aliveness is sacred. Why we lost our joy? Because trauma teaches us to be alert, not relaxed, to brace, not breathe, to please, not play, to survive, not smile. They made you believe joy had to be earned, that you weren't allowed to enjoy your body, your life, your freedom, until everyone else approved. But no one has to approve your joy. Joy is yours, by birth, by right, by heart. Ways to invite joy back into your life. 1. Make space for silly, unproductive play. Draw badly, sing off-key, jump on the bed, make friendship bracelets, wear sparkles, be unapologetically unnecessary. You don't need a reason to feel good. 2. Reconnect with your inner child. Ask her, what made her giggle? What made her curious? What did she dream about? Then do something just for her. Even 5 minutes counts. 3. Reclaim joy in your body. Move it how you want, not to burn calories, not to be looked at, but to feel free, to come home, dance, stretch, wiggle, float. This body is a playground, not a punishment. 4. Find beauty in the everyday. Eat strawberries slowly. Lay on the floor and listen to the rain. Laugh at memes. Romanticize brushing your hair. Let ordinary things feel like magic again. You are not too old, too broken, too late. Joy has not forgotten you. It remembers the way back, and it's been whispering your name. You don't need permission to be light again. You are allowed to laugh, to shine, to feel good. Joy is not a reward. It's your nature. Come home to it. Feeling to heal, the power of emotional liberation. They told you to be quiet, to calm down, to stop being so sensitive. But what they really meant was, your feelings are too much for me to carry, so bury them so I can feel safe. And you did. You swallowed your grief, silenced your rage, numbed your needs, until your body became a vault of unspoken truths. But now, love, it's time to feel what was never allowed, to cry what was never grieved, to scream what was silenced, to laugh wildly, deeply, for no reason at all. Because feeling is not weakness, it's a return to your humanity. Emotions are messengers, not enemies. Every feeling carries a sacred message. Anger shows where your boundaries were violated. Sadness shows what you loved and lost. Fear shows what needs protection. Joy shows what matters most. Shame shows the lies you were taught to believe. To ignore your emotions is to miss the wisdom your body is trying to speak. You were not meant to be emotionally convenient. You were meant to be alive. Why we were taught to suppress our emotions? Because emotional women are hard to control. Because rage threatens the system. Because grief disrupts the illusion of perfection. Because sensitivity is powerful, and they feared what they could not numb. They told us, "You're being dramatic," when we were simply telling the truth. How to reconnect with your emotions. 1. Create a safe space to feel. Light a candle, turn off your phone, breathe deeply. Say, "It's safe for me to feel," then let whatever needs to come. Tears, trembling, silence, stillness. Nothing is wrong with your reaction. It's all holy. 2. Name what you feel. Use the sentence, "Right now, I feel, because, Naming brings clarity, clarity brings compassion. 3. Let the body move. Sometimes the emotion doesn't need words. Dance your rage, shake your fear, stretch your sorrow, let your body speak it. 4. Practice emotional release. Scream into a pillow, cry in the shower, journal without censorship. Punch a bed, not a person. Laugh until your ribs hurt. Emotions are energy. Energy must move. You are not too emotional. You are just finally letting yourself be real. Feel it all. Let it flood you. Let it burn through you. Let it baptize you clean. Because on the other side of feeling is freedom. The rise of the whole woman. Becoming who you were before the world told you not to be. There was a time before the wound, before the silence, before the shame, when you were whole. You were wild, curious, playful, loving without fear, taking up space without guilt. But then they came with their boxes, their expectations, their projections of who a woman should be, and piece by piece, you began to disappear. This chapter is the return to your wholeness, to your magic, to the woman you were before they taught you to be small. What is a whole woman? A whole woman is not perfect. She is not always calm. She is not always confident. She is not always kind. But she is real. She is honest. She is present. She is fully herself. She has allowed her pieces to come back home. The shadow, the light, the rage, the softness, the fire, the tenderness. She has stopped choosing between being strong or sensitive, because she is both. Unbecoming to rebecome. To become whole, you must first unbecome. Unlearn the rules that told you to be quiet. Unfollow the voices that shamed your truth. Untangle yourself from identities that never fit. This process is not clean. It's not linear. You may lose people. You may grieve old versions of you. You may feel scared. But oh, love, you will feel free. Practices to reclaim your wholeness. 1. Mirror work. Meet yourself again. Each day, look into your own eyes and say, "I see you. You are safe. You are allowed to be all of you." Let yourself witness who you've become and who you're still becoming. 2. Write a letter to your inner girl. Tell her what they never told you. Apologize for silencing her. Promise her you're here now and you're not leaving again. 3. Let go of who you're not. Make a list of all the roles and masks you've worn to survive. Then burn them, bury them, bless them, and release them. They were never you, just armor. 4. Speak your becoming out loud. Say, "I am no longer who they told me to be. I am everything I was always meant to become." You are not broken. You are not lost. You are not too late. You are returning to yourself, to your truth, to your sacred power. And when a woman returns to her wholeness, the world changes. She who remembers, a new beginning, a new way. There comes a moment in every woman's life when she can no longer betray herself, when the numbness becomes unbearable, when the silence becomes a scream, when the smallness becomes a prison, And if you are reading these words, that moment has arrived. This is the sacred threshold, where the girl who obeyed dies, and the woman who remembers rises. You were never meant to live in survival, to tiptoe through life afraid to be too loud, too messy, too much. You were born for liberation, for sacred rebellion, for soft power and unshakable truth. And now, you remember. You remember that your body is holy, that your emotions are teachers, that your voice is a revolution, that your sister is not your rival, she is your reflection. You remember that you are not alone and never were. The world tried to make you forget, tried to bury your magic under layers of shame, silence, and sacrifice. But you dug through the rubble. You found your own light. You whispered to your wounds, and they bloomed. This is where it begins. Healing isn't the end of your story. It's the doorway to a new one. Now you get to choose. To rest when you are tired. To speak when silence is betrayal. To walk away from what dishonors you. To reclaim pleasure without guilt. To love yourself without waiting for permission. This is the return to your divine authority. No longer waiting to be chosen, because you have chosen yourself. A journey with no map, but a compass. You may not know exactly where you're going. There may be fog on the road, uncertainty, grief, loneliness, but you have something stronger than a map. You have a compass within. It is the deep pull in your belly that says this way, toward truth, toward freedom, toward you. Let it guide you. The veil has fallen. You've seen behind the curtain now. You've named the systems, felt the rage, sat in the sorrow, grieved the girl who thought compliance would keep her safe. You can't go back to pretending, to shrinking, to offering your body like a sacrifice, to smiling through violation, to calling disconnection love. The veil has fallen, and though it hurts, it's a gift, because now you can see. Keep seeking the truth, even when it's inconvenient. They will call you difficult, emotional, too much, too radical, too sensitive, too angry, too selfish. Let them. You are not here to be digestible. You are here to be real. Do not stop asking questions. Do not stop peeling back the layers. Do not stop unlearning, undoing, unraveling, until all that's left is your essence, raw, holy, alive. Truth is not always comfortable, but it will always set you free. Healing is not a destination. It is a lifelong path. Some days you will feel like a goddess, other days like a scared child. Honor both. Let your healing be messy. Let it be nonlinear. Let it be yours. There will be more shedding, more truths, more boundaries, more claiming. Let it come. Let yourself keep becoming. Break the cycle for you, for us all. Every time you say no when you mean no. Every time you rest without guilt. Every time you choose yourself over pleasing others. Every time you stop apologizing for your emotions. You are breaking thousands of years of conditioning. You are creating space for future generations of women to be born free. Your healing is not selfish. It is sacred activism. It is ancestral work. It is revolutionary love. This book is not a goodbye. It is a torch, a key, a mirror, a prayer. You are the woman who returned to herself, and now, as you rise, you will call others home too. We are building a new world, one healed woman at a time. You, sister, are part of that revolution, and we will never go back. A blessing for the woman you are becoming. May you never again betray your intuition to make others feel comfortable. May your voice grow louder than the voices that once silenced you. May your no be holy. May your yes be embodied. May your boundaries be your protection, not your punishment. May you feel your pleasure without shame. May you walk into rooms not wondering if you belong, but knowing you bless them with your presence. And above all, may you never, ever forget who the fuck you are.